Alright, we are back for another painting tutorial or painting showcase. I don't really know what to call these things. They're not really a tutorial, I'm just kind of painting and showing what I'm doing. But they could also be kind of a tutorial, so whatever. In any event, today we're painting the Warhammer Plus, Warhammer TV, whatever it is. Warhammer Plus, I think. Orc Megaboss. I chose this guy instead of the Assassin. I like him more personally. I thought the Assassin was cool, but I didn't really like the giant tower he was sitting in. I would have rather just had him. So yeah, gonna start off with the Gut Ripper Flesh. This guy is not a Gut Ripper, obviously. He's a Iron Jaw, but I really like this color on orc skin, and you know, it's my miniature, so I can do what I want. This guy, I should say, he's been slap chopped, or he's been slapped, and now we're chopping him. So I primed him with Chaos Black, then I dry brushed him with Dawnstone, and then with Corax White. Now my light is in the wrong position, and now we are going to apply this contrast over the top of that for a cool effect. I'm gonna try to mostly use the new contrast paints just to show them off a little bit. I've been really enjoying using them, but there are some things that I will still use the old ones for, just because, you know, the new contrast is not meant as a standalone range. Obviously, it's meant as a supplement for the paints that already existed. So, for example, there's not a great leather color in the new paints, but obviously snakebite leather exists in the original colors. Agrax sewer, or whatever it's called, could be used as leather, but I plan to use that on the base of this guy, so I won't be using it on the leather. So I'm just gonna finish up with this color, getting all the skin covered. And once I do, I will let that dry. This guy will gonna have to go around and really make sure, because he's got kind of skin like poking through, like right here is skin. And it's kind of hard to tell what's skin and what's armor, but yeah, once I get all this done and it's all nice and dry, I'll come back and we'll do the next step. Alright, we've got our green skin nice and dry, and now we're going to move on to the armor. And for that, we're going to use Leviathan Purple, not to be confused with Leviathan Blue from the previous contrast release. I haven't used this paint a whole lot yet, but I used it once and thought it was pretty cool. And I don't know, I don't see a lot of Iron Jaws with purple armor, so I figured why not. My Cruel Boys are getting painted with yellow shields, and so their main army color is sort of yellow, so I figure if I'm ever going to run the Big Wog, I will have a nice color theory army with some purple and some yellow. Don't know if that will ever happen, but hey, if it does, I'll be all set. This guy has a lot of armor on him, as you might imagine, being a Mega Boss. So we just have to go piece by piece here and get it all blocked in. And this this purple lays down very smooth. I'm really liking it. I wish the pot would stay open a little bit better, but you know. Pros and cons, I suppose. And this guy has, in a couple places, 2 layers of armor. Especially right here, you can see he has... I wonder if that's supposed to be skin. You know, that might supposed to be skin. I'll come back to that. I was going to say, I thought he had 2 layers of armor, and so I was going to do the under layer of armor a different color. But that might supposed to be skin. Well, in any event, when I get back to it, I will either paint it green, and next time you see him, he'll have green there, or I'll come back and paint a different color. But regardless, I'm going to finish up this purple, let it dry completely, and then I will come back and we will do the bones on him. Alright, we are back, and we're going to do the bone now. I'm going to start with this, Mortarian Grime, which is one of the new shades from this new release of contrast paint. I'm going to put this on the bones. This may not be strong enough, though. And if that is the case, well, when that's the case, apparently, yeah, that hardly does anything. So, while I do like that color, not quite enough for what we're needing it to be, so I will switch to Skeleton Horde, which is one of the old contrast paints, and we'll use that. That is much stronger, and will give us a much more vibrant color. Some bits here that are going to be metallic, but for now they can be, I'll just paint them with this color, and we'll go back over them later. All these straps and stuff are going to be snakebite leather in a minute, so the snakebite covers right over this Skeleton Horde, no problem, so that's easy. You could probably go a little bit farther with these horns. The slap chop or the dry brushing doesn't give a ton of depth to the bone, but for my purposes, just trying to get a basic paint job done on this guy, that'll work for me. And, you know, as I've talked about in a lot of previous videos, once you get all the primer covered, you can pretty much call your miniature done, and if you want to add more detail later, you can always come back. But you should always try to, at least in my opinion, you should always try to get your primer covered as early as possible in the paint job, so that if you need a break or you just get sick of painting a miniature, you can play the game with him or her or it with fully painted miniature and not have to worry about it. Whereas if you spend a ton of time getting the pants highlight just right and then get sick of it, well, now all you have is a miniature with painted pants, and it just doesn't look as good. I think, oh nope, I was gonna say I think that's all the bone. Oh no, that is all the bone, because that's a Stormcast mask, not a piece of bone. Right. Those are going to be metallic. Yeah, alright, so that's all the bone. I'm just going to go straight into the leather here. As I said before, snakebite leather is the color of choice here. So all the leather straps on this guy are going to be this color. He's got quite a few. Around his wrists here, on the handle of his axe, the handle of his sword, tying the bones onto his banner sort of thing. They're all over the place. So I'm just going to work my way around the miniature, making sure that I get all these covered. I might have to wait for the Skeleton Horde to dry in a couple places before I go over it, just so it doesn't mix too much. But yeah, once I finish this, we will come back and do the next step. Alright, we are back, and we're going to go into our silver now. We're going to use Iron Hand Steel for this. And what we're going to do here is paint pretty much everything except for the two Stormcast bits here with this. And then we're going to come back with the black contrast paint and paint over some of this stuff. But to start off, we're just going to paint it all silver and then go from there. So I got his chainmail there, and now I'm getting these spikes up here at the top. we go. Get these things. Side here, and then his skull has like a little metallic eye patch similar to the one he has, so I'll get both of those. So I gotta get this. Oh wait, no, he doesn't have a strap. It's just a, yeah, it's just bolted to his face. So I'll get these, and I'm gonna do all these little metallic plates that are kind of dotted around his armor. There we go. Oh yeah, I painted those in a bone color, but they're metal. They're going to be metal. There we go. Oh, he's got some more chainmail, I forgot. Under here. And under here. Trying very careful not to hit the purple where at all possible. Alrighty. Then onto the weapons. So, the blade here. We are going to lose our slap chop on the blade, but that's okay. I'm not super concerned about it. The axe blade is going to be just painted with black, not metal first. So we will get it there. And the same thing with these here. The highlighting from the dry brushing is so nice that I don't want to paint over that with the silver, so I'll leave that and use an actual color over that. An actual contrast color, I should say. Get these. Then I'm going to switch to my smaller brush. And I'm going to get the rivets. Or probably the nails. I don't know if fantasy orcs have rivet technology. I don't see why they couldn't. You can have a handheld rivet gun or rivet applicator, whatever it might be called. I'm sure they could come up with technology. But, you know, they also might just drive nails into their armor. Who knows? There's a little strap of leather. I gotta get that in the touch-up phase later. So I'm just gonna go around and finish getting all these rivets and or nails. And I'll let that dry, and we'll come back and we'll do the next step. Alright, we are back, and we're going to go on to the chain back here and the axe blade there. For that, we're going to use Rattling Grime. This is sort of a dark brownish, almost black sort of color. I really like it. It's not as saturated as the new Black Legion or the old Black Templar. And like I said, it does have sort of a brown kick to it. But I think it'll look cool on these chains. So there we go. So we kept all the highlighting that the dry brushing gave us, but we still got some actual color on there. I'm going to do the same thing on the axe blade here. Maintaining all that highlighting, but still having a color. And you could go nuts with this and do like a crazy, like bright red axe or something and really make those highlights pop. But I just went with something kind of subtle. Kind of all the colors on this guy are pretty subtle, except for the purple armor. So then, I'm just going to go straight into the next color here. It's going to be Black Legion, the new black. Basically Black Templar, but a little bit thicker. I'm not sure if the thickness is on purpose, but that's what it is. So I'm going to do these, or do this color on these spikes here. So these are going to retain their metallic color, or metallic shine, but also be quite dark. Do that on these. Get the other side. And once these dry, they'll look different. They look, this looks quite dark and right now, but once everything is dry, this will be quite flat, and those will still be a little bit shiny, and I think they'll stick out more than they are currently. Or I'm wrong, and it won't stick out at all, and I'll have to change one of them. I'm open to both possibilities. Let me get these little bits there, and then these right here. All right. So I will let all this dry and then come back, and we just have a couple details left to do. We're going to do the teeth and the fingernails, the Stormcast armor, the Stormcast plume here, the pants, which are back here, and then we might add a second color to the skin. Looks kind of flat right now. I might give it a little wash of another color, give it a little bit of pop. We're going to put some wash over the metallic, and we'll call him done. Alright, we are back, and I'm going to do the pants on this guy now. For that, I'm going to use the color I haven't used yet, Briar Queen Chill. Hopefully it looks cool. I think this color will look cool with the purple, but we'll see. I don't even know how strong it is, so it may not even cover very well. Oh no, it covers quite well. Cool. Yeah, so this kind of light blue color I think looks good with purple, so why not? It's a detail that you can only see from the back anyway, so even if it ends up looking great, you know, my opponents won't ever see it because my dude will be facing that way at him. So yeah, get that down here real quick. Probably switch to my smaller brush, but I'm impatient, so I'll just do that. Got a little bit on the bag, but that's okay. So then I'm gonna grab another blue, a different blue though. I'm gonna do Celestium blue for this, and I'm gonna do the plume of the Stormcast helmet he's holding with this color, just like this. There's something sticking through there. I'm not really sure what that is, so I'm just going to paint it as part of the plume. It's kind of a weird sculpt going on in this hand. Not 100% sure what that's supposed to be sticking through there. It doesn't look like it's part of the like ridge of the helmet, so I really don't know. But it'll get hidden inside the blue here, and no one will ever know. Do this real quick. Then I'm going to take, I think it's called Croak Green. We're going to find out in just a second here. And put it over the skin. I think the skin just needs a little more oomph. And Croak Green looks like what I want. Oh, nope, this is Poxwalker. Not what I want. Ah, here we go. Croak Green. Looking at it, well, first of all, it's a shade, so we know it's going to cover less than a contrast paint, but I think it's going to be sort of the perfect color to just give our skin tone a little bit more depth. So let's see if I'm right. Yeah. Yep, I think that will do nicely. And it will also differentiate him just a little bit from my Cruel Boys, which are just the straight up green we used earlier. So that's good. So I'm just going to get this, put it everywhere that we painted green before. And then I will hit the stop button here. Let this dry, figure out exactly what other details we need to do on this guy. Come back and do them. Alright, we are back, and we're going to do a couple steps in this clip here. First, we're going to take some Krieg khaki, and we're going to do his teeth with this. And we're also going to do his fingernails, and then we're also going to highlight some of the bone that we painted earlier in just a couple spots. Not going to go crazy on it, because I do want the contrast to stand on its own. Don't need to highlight it, but there are some spots that I just want to pick out and just make them stand out a little bit from the surrounding area. Do his fingernails. I gotta see if you can see his fingernails on the other hand. Oh yeah, you definitely can. So I'll get them. There we go. Alright. Then I'm gonna do the teeth of this skull up here, as well as just this area around the eye socket and this area around the nose right there. Then I'm going to flip them around and just do a little bit of highlights down here along the teeth of these, and then right here. Maybe on the side there. Side here. And then just along here where that nostril is. And then this guy on his shoulder here. And maybe this guy as well. Not going crazy, just a couple subtle highlights. Alright, so then I'm going to get the Retributor armor out. And I'm going to paint in the two little bits of Stormcast armor he's got here. There's one. And here's the other. At least I'm pretty sure that's what this is. I know for sure the one on his belt is Stormcast. I think this is Stormcast under here. But honestly, it could be something else that I'm mislabeling here. But either way, I'm not super concerned. The gold will look cool with the purple. That's all that matters to me. And then, technically, I don't usually like to do this because it doesn't really make sense if they're the same color, but I'm going to do his earrings in gold as well. Like, it would be... I mean, maybe he made his earrings out of dead Stormcast, but seems a little fishy. That's alright. So then, I'm going to take some new Soulblight Gray, the new shade, which is honestly pretty similar to Apothecary White. That's okay. And I'm just going to use it right here on his staff, or on his axe handle here. Kind of like the idea that it's like made from really aged wood, and it's so old that it's gone white. It's been sort of like an ancient tree that, for whatever reason, the orcs are using for their weapons. Then finally, for this step, I'm going to take some ball red, and I'm just going to do his one visible eye with this. Just in there. A little bit more. This ball red is one of the single pigment contrasts, so it is very strong. There we go. There's his eye. And I said finally, but not quite finally. I'm going to take some Sigvald Burgundy and just do the inside of his mouth real quick. And that'll be the last step for this clip. And then I'll let this all dry. We'll come back, apply some Agrax Earthshade to a couple things, and then I believe we will call him done. So I'll be back in just a second when all this is nice and dry. Alright, everything is nice and dry. And now we're going to take our Agrax Earthshade. This is specifically the new formulation of it. I have not done extensive side-by-side testing of the new versus the old formulation, so I figure for now, while I'm using Agrax, I will just mention which of the formulations I'm using, and people can make their decisions from there. But I'm just putting this all over the gold and the blue here, just to tone it down a little bit. This clearly has been ripped off a Stormcast, so you know it's probably not in perfect condition. Get this other one, and I'm going to get all the chainmail here. This color. All the other metal. We're not trying to shift this to brown, but we are giving it just a little bit of tint, like it's just a little bit, you know, it's a little tarnished or a little not perfectly cared for, that sort of thing. Still want it to read as silver, though. And then we're going to get his weapon here. His weapon, though, we're going to put it on, and then I'm just going to take my finger and wipe most of it off, just so we get a subtle hint of it, but we get the idea that maybe he keeps his weapons in a little better repair than his armor. Did I get it all? I think I got it all. So now I'm just going to do this on his teeth here. This Krieg Khaki plus Agrax Earthshade, I think, really gives you a nice teeth result. I'm going to do it on his fingernails as well. His other hand here. Alright, and I guess I'll put a little bit up here. Alrighty, so now you could go in and highlight all this purple armor, but I don't really want to. It's a lot of highlighting, to be honest, so I'm just going to go back to our Mortarian Grime, and I'll be honest, this isn't going to do a lot, but it will put sort of like a couple little patches of this sort of greenish, brownish color on it, and probably won't even show up on camera. It'll just look like I'm putting water on it, but I think it will help sell the armor just a little bit better. Give it a little bit more depth if you look at it really up close in person, and maybe in the pictures it might show up as well, which you should be seeing shortly. I think this is going to be the last step on this guy. I have to do the base still, but I'm actually going to film a separate video for doing the base, because, you know, I figure that you might be looking for how to paint this this model, but you already have a basing scheme for your army, or you might be looking for a basing scheme for your army but have no interest in this model. So I do them separately, and that way you can make up your mind. And also, I figure that even if you're wanting to paint this model, I'm actually going to put this on the pants as well. Even if you're wanting to paint this model and this doesn't match your army scheme, you can basically just swap purple for your army colors, and everything else is still perfectly valid for pretty much any army. So yeah, that will do it for this guy. Right about now, you'll see some pictures of him on his base, all ready to go. Like I said, the base will be in a different video that will come out concurrently with this one. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. If you liked the video, feel free to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and, you know, click the bell or slide the bell, do whatever with the bell. And if you want to support the channel more than just viewing and liking, if you want to support it monetarily, there's a Patreon down in the video description. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.